Are we ready? we are, Michael.
We are ready. Hi, Jamie.
How are you, man?
I am well.
That is good. Actually, you can even scoot over a little bit if you want.
Which way am I
be
going?
closer to me. This way, yeah. Look at that. Oh. So, hello.
Hey, everybody. It's the 2 of 1 show.
It is.
With your favorite pools.
Yeah, really. And I am going... Oh, are we streaming?
I hope so. No technical difficulties this time.
It says we're supposed to be, but we will find out, won't we?
You want to double check?
You know what? I am going to pull it up here because I want to make sure I have all the chat in the world.
Okay.
And ever since they updated my gosh darn software, it has been a pain in my butt, I can say. So I apologize.
We'll just do a little check before we get going. That's
exactly.
No worries.
There we go.
Everything's good?
It is. It says...
Well, it's your holder page. Did you press go? Did you press go live?
I believe I did.
Okay, maybe there's just a delay.
You know what? No,
Yeah.
Nope, that's not it. There
Yes,
we are. Okay.
There is a
good.
delay. There's...
Apologize. Oh, there we go. I even hear myself talking now. Okay.
It's a delay.
So,
yep, all good.
There we go. Now I can see if there's a chat.
Now I can breathe
apologize,
easy.
But like I say, the new software just all messed up and everything else. So hello again. We've already gone through this.
Take 2. Take 4.
Well, we're only 2 minutes wasted.
All right.
So we are at an exciting period here.
Yes.
We are where, Michael?
So we're going through the minors of the tarot.
We've already done all the majors.
We've done the majors.
Now we're going through the minors.
We've done the aces.
We've done the aces, the 2s, the 3s.
And to now.
So aces were the beginning. 2s were when you were making decisions and moving forward.
So I see aces as wholeness and 2s as duality.
Sure.
3's creativity.
Yeah, 3 is the culmination where you make your decision. I just realized what this shirt is. This shirt is actually from Hamlet, but I mean not Hamlet, but Shakespeare. It's Macbeth. So maybe this wasn't the best shirt to wear, but that's okay. I'll point out every now and then this is about Macbeth. Sorry about that. But this is live TV
or something.
So. Yes, we are on the 4s
now. So 4s are, for me, foundation.
Yeah.
The mastery over...
And actually for every book out there.
That's true.
Go ahead.
But maybe not everybody...
And hopefully we're going to explore some alternatives because there's definite alternatives.
Right. So in addition to foundation, which it truly is, it's the mastery over the material.
Yes.
Is how I see it. The order and the control, but mastery over the material.
Okay.
You're the master of your domain.
Okay.
All 4, directions, the compass.
You got Earth. You got the 4 elements: Earth, Wind, and Fire. You got the 4 seasons, the 4 directions: North, South, East, West. The 4 corners of the Earth with its 4 winds.
Yep.
And there's 4 suits of pips.
That's correct. Yes.
4 legs in a chair, 4 walls. 4 wheels on a car.
This must
mean stability.
It must.
And I'm a musician, so
4 scare,
4 time.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Instead of the flowing, rocking 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, which is where you get a wave.
Yeah.
But that's more like that's a wave.
Right.
But 1,
something
2,
stable.
3, 4. 1, 2.
Yeah.
That's your march. Dun, 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 dun,
right.
dun, dun, dun. I mean, even, it's ingrained in our DNA.
Right, sure.
From the very beginning. Just 4s are that solid in a march, right?
Absolutely.
So, what else did you get? Anything else? We have our obvious stuff, and I was also thinking, or looking that all these cards have their very root on stay in the course. No rocking the boat. As a matter of fact, with this card, there is no boat.
There's no boat.
There's no water.
Yeah.
It's
solid.
Just all solid.
Solid
ground.
like a rock. Yep.
Okay. Yep. So, yep.
And if you want to connect it to the majors, we had the Emperor was the 4th card, and he's stern but stable leader of all 4 directions, all 4 kingdoms.
Oh, and we should let people know. I have no clue what he's going to say, by the way, because we had made this deal. We're not going to talk to each other about the tarot or what we're going to talk about beforehand. So we're going to pull all our information separately, and a lot of it's going to be the same. But
we can compare notes.
So as we're going through, I may just be as surprised as you.
You might. It's happened before.
So you were saying.
Yeah. Okay. So the Emperor he's the 4th card, and so you definitely see the 4 there. The next 4 in the next cycle would be 14.
Yep.
Temperance.
Yep.
And she is in control of all 4 elements. So she's got the fire symbol on her forehead. She's got the wings for air.
Yes, that's when you're going with the Rider-Waite.
The Rider-Waite, yeah.
He put all those in, which is fine, which is
absolutely
what he did. Yes.
But she got one foot on the land, 1 foot in the water. So all 4 elements. Again, it's that 4 thing happening. And then in my deck, as you know, has made extra majors, because I'm making my own 100 card tarot deck, which has a whole bunch of bonus cards.
So you'll be able to use the original ones, and then he's adding extra ones after that.
If you wish to use...
I'm such a purist. He wants me to use all 100, but it's like, and I'm probably going to, I'm going to struggle to do that. I'll stretch it. I'll do it. I'll try it. Yeah. But I'm glad I'll be able to at least...
You can always go back to your safe 72, but if you want to feel adventurous, I've got a whole bunch more for you to play with.
Okay.
And in my next cycle, I've got the 24th card is Prudence. So she was one of the virtues, and she showed up in some of the earlier tarot decks, was weeded out from the tarot that we consider, standard, whatever that is for today. But she was the 4th grace.
Right.
And they say that Prudence is the mother of all virtues, because without it, justice becomes corrupted. Fortitude becomes foolhardy. Temperance becomes fanatical.
Yep.
So she is the grace of the mastery of the wisdom of the past. So it's the wisdom of the past to have mastery over the present and the future.
Yes.
And our actions in the now and the what's to come. So she's a very important virtue, so it's about time that she shows up and is perfectly fits into that 4 action.
Prudence is and that's one of the things about 4s is about being prudent.
Exactly.
It's the stability.
Stable. Yeah.
So so there's in the regular deck there's 6 4s, but yes, with the Emperor number 4, stability and consistency.
Indeed.
Considering the personality of the number 4, you think about he's the perfect number 4. He is the guardian. He is the thing that keeps things stable. And the thing about temperance, temperance is about having immense control.
Yes.
When you sit there and have your off desires and all these other things like that, temperance is the king, and the king is immense control. So both of those fit really well with the number 4.
Yeah, absolutely. And all 3, I think.
Absolutely.
Not to toot my own horn, but but going back to what the classic decks. Should we jump right in and
Well, we can absolutely. So do we want to go with the original? You want to start with the Rider-Waite because that's the most popular?
Sure, yeah, whichever you want to do.
It does not matter to me.
Okay,
But we can do one suit at a time.
Yeah,
so
let's
we can show them all out.
Let's do that. Let's start with swords and just go through all the decks, all the major decks.
Sweetly, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I did have.
What'd you have?
Just so I could show the. Look at this.
Oh, the Emperor and
look at this.
And Temperance. Yes, indeed.
Because I knew we would have to talk about them. And the Emperor as a number 4, he is looking. He's a conservative, so he's not looking. He's protecting everything behind him. He is protecting everything behind him as compared to other cards that may be looking in other directions. So he is making sure the kingdom is stable. And of course, here we have Prudence and this is the Condor deck from the 1700s. So she is about the stability. With the Rider-Waite, we obviously have the foot in the ground for that one. I mean, in the water for the Rider-Waite when you look at that, Temperance. But this one here still shows the definition of temperance and stability.
Sure. And I mean, you can read into even the earlier Marseille style. Some say that this flower is hinting at the sun symbol. The wings, of course, hinting at air.
Sure.
She's pouring water. She's grounded on the... so it's, all four elements are there, even if you're... maybe it wasn't intended. Maybe it was. We don't know. But it's not that far of a stretch to get to the understanding of this card that we have, or we have assigned to it now.
Right. So then when you want to do swords...
Oh, yeah, let me peek at...
well, go ahead.
But we all know the cards, but I just like to flash my screen anyway.
Absolutely. Flash your screen. That's a whole different video.
But, yes.
So, swords.
Swords, indeed.
So, I'm going to pull out my sword. I don't know what order Michael would like to go into, but I am all for pro,
Yeah, let's jump right into... with the Marseille.
Yeah.
So the
well, you know what? It might be easier because I think the Marseille. Let's kind of
start with the
explain
Rider-Waite.
Yeah, because it's easier because people understand that.
Okay.
They've seen that one
Yep.
a lot.
Sure.
And then we'll go into because I'm a Marseille person. I love reading the Marseille.
I know. I figured we'd
so
start with your favorite, but
I know that.
But I do know
most people are know this card.
Absolutely, and
except for our European. Go Europe.
Yeah, right. They
go
might
France. Go Europe.
They might. Yeah,
Marseille.
it depends on which side of the pond you're on.
Yes.
But and I know that in the Rider-Waite Smith tradition, I know that this one is one of your favorites.
This is me. So most people will pick a major card as a significator, but from the very, very beginning, I always felt
drawn to this card.
Yeah. I mean, there's just a sense of peace and everything else.
That's absolutely right.
Even though it's kind of scary with the three swords hanging overhead.
But they're hanging
like
downwards.
A banner, and they're hanging downwards.
Like peace.
Yep.
As we know.
Yep.
And you could see this as the ultimate rest, as like a tombstone, or an effigy in stone here.
Yeah.
As the ultimate piece is your I'll rest when I'm dead.
Yeah.
But it's not a negative card at all. I mean, you've got the warm stained glass here with Christ giving his blessing to somebody in the stained glass there. It's very peaceful. And I've got a question in here. Does the 10 of swords in that deck have an older scene in the graveyard and the swords in the back?
Does the 10 of swords in
the Rider-Waite? It doesn't have a graveyard.
What was that question? What was the question again? What deck?
I'm assuming the question was about the Rider-Waite, because that's what we were just talking about.
Yeah.
Rider-Waite Smith.
But
yeah, we're talking about the 4s today. The 10s will come later.
Yes.
but there is that there's no graveyard in the 10. But
no.
Anyway, let's.
Well, I mean, yeah. So but with the 4 here, and again, so 4s are about the swords are about thought,
right?
Contemplation, and so another thing that and I made the note because I also keep in mind that I look at this as patience, that they're biding their time and they're using their time wisely.
Yes.
It's a time to reflect and use your time wisely. It's a time to have patience with the swords, because the 4s and the stabilities, even though swords are a hard suit, so your hard suits are the wands and the swords.
Correct.
And the soft suits are the
cups and the coins.
The cups and the coins.
Right. But with this swords, like you're saying, the swords are...
With this sword I thee wed.
with the 4 of swords, it's that...
Oh, look at me go.
Are you checking that these things are working?
Yeah, well, no, I was just making sure that we can get to the chat here because we did get a hi here from Tressa to toot away. So we
Toot away. Oh, thank you.
We're going to toot
thank
away.
you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tessa.
But,
actually, Tressa. Let me pronounce that correctly.
Yes. Let's
Okay.
break that fourth wall
Yeah.
and say hello to everybody out there.
So,
But back to what some stuff.
back to the ADD.
Yeah, back to the Four of Swords. Rider Waite. So this card is called the Lord of Rest after Strife. So he's made it through the battle. He's taken a time to recharge, to regenerate. This is Jupiter in Libra. So it's good fortune combined with balance. So
Okay.
it's that mental need for rest and recovery, the passive repose. I like to see it as clearing the cobwebs of the mind and recharging.
Sure.
You're resting in through strife. You find Zen, peace,
Right.
truce, and that's what the point really of the card is that we're thinking so much, so much. Sometimes we just need to relax and take a time off. Get a good night's sleep so that you can recharge, and then they say sleep on it so that you can. The answer will become clear in the morning, right? Let me sleep on it, and that kind of like resets your batteries.
Yeah. So he's resting with his thoughts.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what it comes down to.
Pretty much.
And again, having patience, taking the time, and talk about prudence.
Exactly.
Using the time wise. Okay, good.
Yeah.
So we also have...
and one more thing I wanted to say about this card. There's some kind of hidden word in the stained glass. I can never find it.
That's right. I forget about that.
I can never find it. It's something which translates to peace, and I forget where it is, but it was.
That's right. I forgot. I heard
there.
that a long time ago.
Yeah, somewhere in
because of course Waite put his own little symbols and things like that.
He
his
sneaks
own little
in
blinds and
well,
stuff.
or hints.
Right. So that's the Waite, and then we also have the Marseille style, and so
Sure.
people shy away from the Marseille cards, but you really don't need to if you understand your numerology. You understand what the suits actually mean. We've talked a lot about the stability of the fours, and we've talked about swords being thought and mental and things like that. And so the thing about tarot is nothing's wrong.
Exactly.
You're never wrong. It's like if you see something, I'm looking at this four right here, and I see it looks like the flower itself is in repose. So here we have the flower in repose, and there's the four flowers that are around it, and it just seems like a secure place to be.
Yeah, and very balanced. See, there's red flowers here, balanced with the two white flowers there. It's all very symmetrical and balanced with the flower in the middle. It feels stable and right.
So if I'm getting this card in a reading, I will look at it as, pretty much how the numerology and the card says it. It's not something to shy away from, which a lot of people do.
Yeah.
So, okay, so we have that one. So was there anybody else you wanted to look at?
Yeah, absolutely. You know me. So the Crowley has, he labels this card Truce, and
yes, I do. So I have my
had
Crowley card available.
primed and ready, the Thoth deck.
And he was with the Golden Dawn, and a lot of his meanings come from the Book T and from Golden Dawn the same way that, and Atella the same way that Waite does.
It's true, but he takes it, in a slightly different bent. It's
very cosmic.
Yeah, he says this is truce, but it's peace established by threat of violence. See how all the four swords are pointing at each other, and it's we're this is a card of peace, but how long will peace last?
Right.
And that's basically what Crowley's spin on this card is that all 4 cards are pointing at each other. So how long until we take them off the table and start stabby?
And it's not invalid at all because, again,
it's a repose.
The cards are here to tell a story. They're not in isolation. So we have the 2 of Swords with the indecision. We have the 3rd sword that comes in to break it up or possibly cause a conflict.
Right.
The third, because these are a hard suit. So also consider when you're reading, it's like, is it a soft card or a hard card when you're reading the Marseille? And so just like he says right here, we're about to go into card number 5.
Right. So,
so we have a truce here.
Right. But the thing I was going to say is that 4s are still early on. So we're not, we're by no means at the end of the story.
No, we're coming up to the middle. And that's where people, things can go one way or the other.
Right.
That's where the conflict of 5s will step in.
Exactly.
And so I can absolutely see
it's peace now.
There can be a peace through threat of violence. And it's like finally everything just explodes with 5.
Right.
If you've got the, when the swords come up.
Right. But this is the calm before the storm.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right. So that, I think, does the swords.
Does that do the swords? Okay, what do you want to go to next
Let's
then?
do cups.
You want to do cups?
Yeah, I do.
I like cups.
So the cups, we've got the Lord of Blended Pleasure. And this is the moon in Cancer. So there's a yearning. There is a desire of the material does not equal contentment. The desire of the spiritual is a blessing. So the basic idea that I'm trying to convey here is that he's bored, he's apathetic, he's focused on the material, and he's unaware of the spiritual, the enlightenment that is just right behind him. If he'd only look up,
right?
It's there. The gift is there, but that's the blessing and the yearning that we all have. We feel incomplete and sad on this material plane because we're not whole and divine and spiritual. So we're kind of like in this funk. But if we connect with our spirituality, then we can get out of that. So it's a stalemate.
Right. And the same thing goes with, so we're with the 4s and we're with the cups, and cups are generally positive. So Pamela Coleman Smith has taken a snapshot, and she's using, the weights, concepts, which goes along with the Golden Dawn. And so, he is looking bored, but that can happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
That can happen when you get in a relationship.
It's an emotional block that needs to be unclogged.
So I was contemplating this, but the 4s is a suit. So stability, and this is what I came up with, was how stability over time can move to a comforting consistency.
Right.
So you're in your relationship.
Status quo.
And that can manifest itself over time to boredom.
You get complacent. Yep.
Stagnation and resistance to change out of fear of the unknown. So for every side of the 4 that is peaceful and grounded, there's a shadow side of avoidance and outgrown attachments. Yeah,
it's interesting that the 4 was more peaceful, and this one is kind of like almost negative. So it's like usually you think of the cups as a positive sweet, but in this one it's got a negative undertone where it's this emotional block, and you need a yearning to re-tap into the flow of the universe that's not happening.
Right, and it's also the fact that, again, if something is walled in and stable,
right,
it works for a while, but then again,
mold starts to grow.
Something can't grow.
Yeah, yes. Or mold grows, right. Or the wrong things grow.
That's where we can start taking things for granted.
Right.
After a period of time. And so we've moved from the celebration of 3s,
right,
with the cups.
Yep.
you know, the cup number 1 is like, here you go, yay. And then cups 2, it's like you meet that person. And then cup 3, it's like, woo, we're gonna have a party. It could be a baby, it could be anything else. And then cup 4, it's like now you've built your house, you've got the 4 walls, and now you're just sitting there, and it's
now
like
what?
I've got my 4 walls, and then, well, I got 4 walls here, and it's like, you know, hey, I guess I'll turn on the TV now.
Right. Sad, but true.
But again,
that melancholy.
But also the stability. Number 4 also with this could be reflecting when we go to the Marseille. You know, we're going with a stability.
Yeah.
We are going into. I mean, you're looking at these 4 cups, and they are. You can see there's a plant in the middle that shows a growth.
Right.
Because this is an emotional growth here, depending upon how you want to see it.
But it's so orderly. I mean, it's
so
like,
orderly.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's almost a little boring.
So, you know, everything's being supported here. And it is. The other thing is that this plant really, other than going down a little bit more, it can't grow any further. It's boxed in.
Sure.
I just came up with that.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah.
After our little conversation.
Yeah.
But it's pretty much boxed in, which is a good thing because the leaves are keeping everything stable.
Yeah.
And then more stable. And then more stable. But that, again, stability might be what we need based on the reading.
It's true. It's true. There's good and bad in everything. And stability can be boring or it can be desperately needed. I mean, if your life didn't have any stability, I wouldn't want to live that life.
Right. So, you know, and I also wanted to reflect. Oh, that's on the. I got a great story for another one. But yes, okay. So, but that's the basic thing with the cups for me.
Okay, and then Crowley's cup. So he's got too much. It's like you said, boxed in. This is
luxury.
This is pushing on the borders. So the flower, they had the overflowing cups with the 3 as well, but now it's like it's almost pushing against like the borders with these. It's almost too much. You've got the flower, but it's now supplying the water, but it's wilted. The flower's wilted. So yes, there's luxury,
and it's almost insectoid.
It's a little bit.
But I can see where it loops now when I go up close, so I can see how you're right. I can see the wilting.
Right. So it's almost like
it's a vine, and there's only 1 flower on it.
Right. So it's suggesting that there's luxury, and you're on top, but maybe not for long.
Right.
It's the again that everything is still holding, everything's still stable. But you know, the flower's wilting, and it's only a matter of time before we run out of real estate here, because it's really pushing on.
And it sounds like we talk about so much of the negative of 4s, but I do want to just throw out again. Sometimes boredom is good.
Absolutely.
Because
like I was saying at my doctor's appointment today, my doctor's like, "You're boring." I'm like, "Thank you," but
you know,
that's a good thing.
Because I personally, I know that, you know, I can throw a wrench into something just to make it exciting.
Right.
And my dating pattern showed that I love dating people who would throw wrenches into things to make our lives exciting.
It's exciting, but
I
stability's good too.
That's why I have so many. I'm only 27, and that's why I got all this gray hair.
But the positive aspect is.
Do you think they believe I'm 27?
We'll go with it.
Okay.
But the water is still overflowing. The cups are still good. I mean, yes, it's pushing, but it's also overflowing. Yes. So there's good and bad.
And Twix happens to think this is swanky.
Swanky.
Swanky. Yeah, it's like a champagne fountain.
Right?
Twix is saying, when I talk to my family home there in the U.S., we celebrate any weeks where nothing
exciting
bad happens.
Bad.
You know?
Absolutely.
Exactly.
That's worthy
exactly.
You got it.
Oh, man.
Worthy of a celebration, a boring day.
Oh, my gosh.
No doubt.
So that's him. What else you got?
That's about it for cups.
Okay. So cups, yep. Okay, so where you want to go next?
Let's do wands.
You want to do wands next?
I do.
Okie dokie.
So
Celebrate good times, come on.
Yeah, it's another party time. So the wands, this is the Lord of Perfected Work. Venus and Aries. So Venus, you got the Empress action, and Aries, you got the Emperor action. So it's maybe the Empress and the Emperor got together and they're having a wedding. Some people see this as a wedding celebration. It's kind of unknown. They kind of look like two women. Maybe it's a same-sex marriage. Who knows? But it's a celebration of some kind.
Yeah, and it's interesting. We don't have Pamela Coleman Smith
To tell us. Yeah. So we have to speculate a little.
Well, it's all speculation, but there's a couple interesting things about this card.
Yes, indeed.
They're off stage.
They're off stage. That's true.
So
They're
Pamela
not up front.
Coleman Smith,
Yep.
you'll see. So she was an artist and she did a lot of stage design.
Yep.
And so you will see that there is a stage in many of the cards.
Right. This line that goes across.
So as you see that, these people are off stage.
Part of the backdrop.
Almost like they're an audience to the or entering to be on stage, even though the people in the background have their backs turned. See that? And so there we have our castle in the background. So wands are fire and energy.
Yep.
They're one of the hard suits because, again, wands can be used for violence. Wands can be used for, and again, fire can be just all encompassing.
It can be destructive or creative.
Right.
But yeah.
But in this context here, the Four of Wands, creativity, a stability with creativity. I see wands as as the creative energy, the creative fire.
Yeah.
And so she has it here as the celebration.
Yeah, it's a so an active celebration of accomplishment. Again, we're far from over. We're only at 4, so the final objective is not complete. But it's important to mark the big moments of life's journey and take time to smell the flowers, and that's why we've got all the flowers up here in this garland, with grapes and everything and harvesting. Maybe this is a harvest celebration, but it's we're taking time to say, hey, our final quest isn't over, but we've reached a good milestone. Things are stable and good, and let's celebrate that.
Yep.
Is it hinting at that the journey's still a long way to come? Is this bridge kind of leading on to what's next? So there's more to come, but this is a point in time where we should stop and say, yay.
And Twix is also saying, sad it took me 40 years to figure out that boring isn't always bad. Okay. But also it's speculated that she was non-binary, so that we're talking about Pamela Coleman Smith or queer, so that she may have been tucked in that somewhere. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And hello,
sure.
hello, Carla. Yep.
Yep.
And so also, this, I think, what is it in the Rider-Waite? Now I should have pulled that up. But it's not saying that this is male and female, because a lot of people will say, is this a wedding celebration? But
it could be.
I think it says in Waite's book, Key to the Tarot, that it's 2 women.
Yeah, but it could still be a wedding celebration.
It could absolutely be a wedding.
For progressive, as we, ahead of its time.
Absolutely. So, and then, but I wanted to go to the let me move these aside. So if we go to the Marseille.
Yes.
And here's where we get to talk about what the hard and soft suits are. So here's a really good book for reading the Marseille. This is a director, Alejandro Jodorowsky.
Yes, indeed.
And this is actually a really good book for learning. And I always suggest to people, if you want to move to the next level of reading, learn the Marseille. That really moved me further.
It pushes you. And if you get that, go on to just regular playing cards.
Yep. And if you go on this, then just, I had somebody once tell me, if you're really good, you could just have a blank deck.
Right.
And you will read
what's
on the cards.
Exactly. That's master level, though. So, take it one step at a time.
So I wanted to read what Jodorowsky had in here. considering it is a hard suit. And he says that in the Four of Wands, we are in the present of a sexual and creative security. Everything is going well, but there is a risk that this situation will become routine. In this domain, repetition chills enthusiasm. For the lack of novelty, ecstasy declines. Once again, the Four is a wholesome passage that asks to be surpassed. What would we think of an artist who establishes one style and then repeats it until the day he dies, thereby content with earning a guaranteed income? The security of the Four is doomed to evolve into the temptation of the Five.
That's great. And what he says about the artist, getting into that comfort zone is so true. I think I know it was David Bowie once said that if you feel, as an artist, if you feel just a little off balance, like a little unsure, I'm paraphrasing here, but he's like, that's a good thing. That's the sweet spot. That's where you want to be, is always just stretching yourself just a little bit, out of your comfort zone.
Right.
Because that's where the magic happens.
And so I can absolutely, so I've been playing guitar since I was 20 years old, and I'm only 27. We've established that.
We have established that.
But I've been playing guitar, and I've always played, the classic rock and the regular stuff like that. And then about 10 years ago, I got this offer to work with a Shakespeare company and create the soundscape for that. It was
a push.
Yeah. And so it's all acoustic. It's non-electric. It's everything was going to be just acoustic. And all of a sudden, it's like I did it. I had gone from being bored because I was playing the same songs really well.
Right.
I mean, really, really well. And all of a sudden, I learned a whole new style and a whole new way of doing it.
And all of a sudden, it's good again.
And I had to go through the fives to get to that challenge so that I could finally reach the sixes.
Exactly.
But it really was a challenge. But I didn't realize at the time just how stagnant I had become.
Right.
I was the master of the 4 chords. And
that's, and you
I could do the 4-chord song like you wouldn't believe.
Right. But you gotta push yourself to do the 5th. That's great. That's a good analogy.
So, what else do we got here? So,
okay. So,
any other 4s that you wanted to?
Yes. So let us go to Crowley's Thoth, and so he's got this wheel for the 4s, and the dove, it represents Venus, and the ram Aries. So he's got them interspersed, one and then the other, going back and forth. But it's that balance that one cannot establish one's work without tact and gentleness. So sometimes you need that wheel, that balance, to establish yourself and be in the zone, right? To keep that wheel turning, it has to be a stable wheel. And it's, he's got the fiery element there because we're in the wand suite. But it's all about balance, all about stability.
Yeah. That's very cool.
Yeah.
That's like a thing.
It is a thing. but wands are all action. So it's that turning wheel. It's cups are emotion. So it's the
oh yeah.
It's the feelings, the celebration, but yeah, it's all elemental influences and numerology.
Yeah. Oh, I should explain, since I mentioned Shakespeare. If you just signed in, this shirt is actually about it's a Macbeth shirt. It's from a Shakespeare company, and it's like I didn't realize till I started this as like
you got blood on your hands.
I did not kill. So it's like, oh man, it is Macbeth.
Macbeth.
Right? Yeah, blood will have blood.
Sure.
What a awful shirt to wear.
No, it's a good shirt.
But I love Shakespeare.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with the bard.
I know. No, not at all.
Okay. So moving on to coins, final.
Want to move on to coins?
Yeah. All right.
Ta-da.
So here we've got the Lord of Earthly Power, and this is the Sun in Capricorn. So his work is paid off. That's what the Sun is usually you're top of the game. Everything is good, and Capricorn is work. So the work is paid off. At this point, things are stable and good. He's got this powerful mastery. But stability, of course, can come at a cost. And security is important, but it's important not to slip into greed or isolation. So that's what we have to be wary. Because this guy looks like he's a little bit miserly.
A little bit. So he's got all four. I mean, he is so clenched,
right,
and so stressed. I mean, he's got his money balanced on his head. He's got this held to his chest.
It's in his thoughts. It's in his heart.
Sitting, and it's what his stability is based on.
Right.
And this king is not going anywhere.
Right.
He is Howard Hughes.
Yeah. So So this again, the lesson here is that new energy is needed. New energy is essential. He's holding on to his money, but it's like sticking all his money in a mattress.
Yeah.
It's like you need to do something with it and invest, make it be fruitful.
Right.
And all he is holding on and saying, leave me alone.
Right.
So he needs to stretch.
So, and again, as we were describing before, see they're on a stage here.
Right. But that's kind of, hinting at that he's mastered all this material.
Right.
All this material world. He is the king of that domain.
But it's like the whole background, everything else in the background is just this lovely city and stuff like this. And this person here is just like, they don't care about all that other stuff. They've got their back turned to it.
It's a little fake too.
And this is
it's a backdrop.
This is the most important thing. So, and then when we jump into the into the Marseille.
Yeah.
I want to jump into the Jodorowsky because I think he described it really, really well.
Sure.
With the fours. The person who has health and security. Should I actually let people see me?
As you read.
So the person who has health and security should remain conscious of the ephemeral nature of all material goods. So nothing lasts.
Exactly.
So the ephemeral
It's
nature
stable
of all
now.
material goods.
Yeah.
At this level, the one who does not advance and refuses to change goes backwards. Health depends on constant care. The apparent stability of the Four of Pentacles conceals the sacred instability. If the Four does not commit itself to action, it will gradually putrefy. The Four of Pentacles guarantees daily life, but not spiritual life.
Exactly. Something's missing.
He wrote, that really is
That hits
good.
home. That hits home.
So I think that really, and he goes on and talks about the spiritual foundation. But yes, the Four of Pentacles, and I think that says it. I'm gonna underline that parts for later.
Yeah,
but the Four of Pentacles guarantees daily life, but not spiritual life.
It's the mastery over.
Beautiful.
Yeah. It's the mastery over the material.
Yeah.
But the material isn't everything.
Yep.
And that's just it. That's the fours to a T.
And I wanted to show one other. Oh, so looking at the Marseille, then as we go through. And here we can see we have like 4 pegs of a table. We have 4 towers in a castle. Each one of these is separated out.
Yes.
By this shield, and a shield is always seen as defensive.
Right.
So even in this Marseille deck here from the 1700s, we can see that we have our defensive shield right here. This person is ready to guard the 4 coins that are on here. And again, each coin just looks separated and isolated and secured. And it looks like 4 towers and a castle.
And speaking of such, moving on to the Crowley thought, that's exactly what he did. So this is an aerial view of a citadel, a castle, with a moat and watchtowers. And
See, I hadn't even looked at this. I knew Michael was going to talk about the Thoth. He loves the Thoth.
I do.
Which is cool. See that thumb? That's a thumbs up.
But yeah, so on the
Oh, hold on. Switch that question before you move on to that.
Yeah. Question on
So she wanted to.
For the Joe Dworski.
Yeah, Joe Dworski.
Thank you.
Look at my high tech zoom out. So,
and he was also, what movie did he do?
He did El Tropo.
And the Holy Mountain.
The Holy Mountain.
Yeah,
he almost did the original version of Dune. There's a book out there with his artwork.
Yes.
He was going to get H.R. Geiger.
And Samuel, no, it's not Samuel.
So,
he was going to get Salvador Dali.
Yep. So Geiger had already done the artwork for this, and there's a book for when he was going to do Dune.
Yep.
But he had studied the tarot his whole life.
Yes.
And so he really, he is a master at it.
Yeah. So in addition to his films, which are very
He gets a little, by the way,
surreal.
He gets a little out there in some of his stuff, but you take what you get.
Well, you kind of have
take
to
it with a grain of salt, like you do with any book.
Sure, but
unless I write a book, then it's going to be just all facts. Don't take anything I say with a grain of salt. No,
it's good to push some subconscious reaches in there, and Joe
Dworski does.
He definitely does. But anyway, going back to the Thoth interpretation of the 4 of discs, we've got this aerial view of the citadel, and the watchtowers have the elemental sigils on them, of course. So we've got the 4 elements represented in there, and then the moat, so it's all very protected, very safe. He's got this one door leading in, and then if you look at the back here, you've got a little door leading out as well. You can't see it, but there's paths going towards the various corners of the wall. So they might be going to secret doors that we don't see.
So even if I zoom in really, really good?
You can't see it. They're hidden.
Oh,
they're invisible.
They're invisible.
Well, you have to use a little bit of speculation.
Oh, okay.
And nobody knows for sure. I'm just throwing it out as a possibility. These paths might be leading to secret doors that we can't see. It's possible. This is the only one that we can see in the back there. It is a little...
And the Mario Brothers took their inspiration from it.
Right? But he calls the card power. And when you have stability, you do have power.
Yeah.
So it's very fitting.
So another deck that I have that I really like is the Tarot of the Divine.
Okay.
And it's inspired by the deities, folklore, and fairy tales from around the world.
Nice.
So, and here we have this lovely card. And it is a really nice card. See the Condor? And it's almost like the coins are eggs in there. And that is his wife in there. And so, and he's got her all wrapped up there with his most prized possessions. All of his prized possessions are wrapped up. Right?
Sure.
Absolutely.
So my screen there.
What they say about the Condor's wife and the story that goes with that is the 4 coins represents greed and an unwillingness to open up or share. Condor covets his wife, who does not like his lifestyle or living with him. He recognizes her unhappiness, but is unwilling to make changes or set her free.
So it hits home.
It's even treating people as possessions.
Yeah, that's...
because the coins are not about emotions. So it's possibility of even treating people as possessions. I know.
Yeah.
But that's what happens when you become I mean,
new energy is needed.
yeah. I mean, that's this person here. This person here does not look like, what is mine is mine.
Right.
And that's that stability. And they're going to maintain that stability no matter what.
But at what cost, man? At what cost?
And in this story,
yeah,
at the cost of somebody else's emotional happiness.
That's
because money does not always make us happy. Just takes us where the happy people go.
Money can't buy you love.
They keep saying that, but I want to prove them wrong.
Oh, come on.
Send me the money.
It's the Fab Four.
Oh,
well, they also sang Money, That's What I Want. So,
Exactly. Yeah. And they've had to suffer with millions.
Yeah, I know, right? Oh, my goodness. But, yeah.
Okay, so there we have that. And then the hard suits. Yeah. And so that was the big thing with those. And I think it comes down to the fact that 4s are stability and stable is important, but stability over time, that's
too much of a good thing.
Right. That's where we can get the boredom. That's where we can get the stagnation.
You got to keep things interesting. Yeah. Life is about change. Change is... it's going to happen. So if you try and hold on and make things always the same, that can only last for so long.
Right.
It's ultimately going to become negative if you try and hold on to that kind of mentality. You have to tap into the flow and be willing to adapt and evolve.
Right. So now that we're to the point here... Anything else in your notes?
Well, I did have this one other deck that I wanted to show. This is a new acquisition for me.
Oh, yeah.
My friend Sean recommended this deck. He uses it. It's a combination between the Marseille and the Rider-Waite.
Okay.
It's called the Rose Tarot. But
cool.
I really like how he did the pips. So the pips are in a Marseille style, but then inside the Marseille pattern, he's got little illustrations that are kind of...
Oh, what a good idea. And this is somebody you know?
This is the
Michael is an artist.
Yeah.
He knows people.
Well, I don't know who created this, but I do know one of my friends uses this deck and recommended it.
Got it.
Right. So, but...
What was the name of the artist on that deck?
The artist is Nigel Jackson.
Nigel Jackson.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So I don't know Nigel. I don't
send
know.
us free decks.
I already bought mine, but yeah, Nigel is not no one I know personally, but I really enjoy his deck. He's got very interesting. It's not quite Rider-Waite style. So, for example, for the 4 of Swords, he's got instead of the person in the Citadel. At rest with the stained glass and everything that we know. This one is...
we have 2 separate cameras going.
Yes.
No, I'm saying to the other side.
Yeah.
Why is Michael talking to nothing?
Sorry.
No, he's showing his other camera.
Yeah. But instead of he's got this guy, at peace praying. So he's, it's the same kind of idea, but just a different spin on it.
And he's biding his time. He's
right, but it's definitely.
I like the pastel colors too.
Yeah, it's lighter. It's definitely soft. Okay, and then for the 4 of Cups, and this one's pretty similar. We've got the kind of apathetic scene going on as he's kind of daydreaming by the water.
Yep.
And then for the 4 of Wands, now this one goes a little...
it's interesting because we fight for that peace. And then once we get the peace, look at what happens.
Right, he's got his armor on, but he's not fighting. Yeah, he's...
And I love reading... Yeah, again, it's like whatever deck I'm reading, I'm going to base my reading on what that inspires.
Exactly.
And I can see that right there. He fought for peace, and then... Now what?
Now what indeed. Exactly. So in 4 of Wands, this is an interesting, very different than the Rider-Waite-Smith. So instead of the celebration, the party people, this one is he looks like a mason, and he is crafting. He's creating the what do they call it? The cornerstone, the first stone
yeah.
of, and there's other castles in the background, but he's creating the first stone for this next one. So but it's the same idea. I've finished this first stone, so it's a time to celebrate. Hey, I've got this one done and it's looking good. Is it the end of my journey? No, I still have the rest of the castle to build, but I've got this first stone is in place, and that's a time for celebration. That's time to take a step back and say, hey, we're at a pretty good point here. You know, they
right.
It's so it's got that same theme of of celebrating the milestones that on your journey.
That's cool.
And the 4 coins, this is very different. So we've got the let's see if you can see that there, but it's this castle, but it's very spiritual. This you got the angels or at the watchtowers kind of guarding the let's see what his book says about it, because it's...
Well, I noticed this one has a definite religious bent to it.
Absolutely. So yeah, I mean,
but it's still, I mean, it's a good representation.
Nigel Jackson is definitely of the Rosicrucian. I mean, it's the Rose Tarot. So he's got a very Christianized bent to these cards, but they're still very cool.
So he's seeing this with the solid foundation, and then this person is now safely secure between, those are the 4 evangelists, I would imagine.
Yeah, let me see what they...
Michael, Ezekiel, etc.
Most likely. That's coins, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he says that the rampant towers of the hermetic castle or citadel of the sages. At the center kneels the seeker, hands clasped in invocation. From above, he's transfixed and illumined by the divine ray emulating vertically, containing the divine name. The whole and at the 4 towers, you're right. It's the 4 archangels.
Yeah.
Yeah, armed with the weapons to ward off all hostile powers.
Hiya!
Yeah.
See, they never get bored. They're killing everybody.
I tell you.
Retribution.
Those angels.
Yeah.
But I enjoy
Let's
seeing...
go lay a city low. You look like a sinner. Anyway.
But yeah, I enjoy looking at different decks and seeing the different interpretations. It's inspiring, for my deck creation, but it's also just really neat to see different takes on it.
And I agree. I think that I've got like close to 100 decks now. But
I thought you had more than that.
I have no clue. I don't even want to count. Because then I'll start counting the money, and then all of a sudden I'll have a deck here, a deck here.
That's right.
My feet on my decks.
That's right.
Because 1 is too many and 1,000's never enough.
Never enough.
But I do like the books. I value the books to see the interpretations, and I think, like I was saying, the Tarot of the Divine is a good example because, I like having the different thoughts and concepts. So
absolutely.
Yeah. So what else you got?
That's it. You want to do a reading?
Okay.
We have time?
So we weren't going to do readings with the at the end of all of our doing the majors, we did readings, and then we weren't going to do readings, and then all of a sudden a card plopped out of the deck and went on the aces, and we started doing a reading on that. And
now
somebody else said that they missed the reading. It's like, please. So it's like we're going to do a reading.
We're going to do the reading.
So what deck would you speculate that you would like to use?
Well, we could continue using the Rose Tarot since I just introduced it, or we could go with Rider-Waite-Smith, or what do you want, Jamie?
Let's do the Smith deck because it is well known, and
that's fine.
And also, where are we at? So I'm pulling. What I'm doing is I'm looking for the coin because I think the 4 of coins is a good example of what to do a reading of.
Sure.
So 1, 2, 3. Have I got? Okay, so I need to make sure. Okay, so I'm going to go grab my deck here.
Okay.
Oh, I'm going to grab it from here. I am a prepared camper.
So push those aside. Yep, there
Push
we go.
these aside. Add them in here.
Not add them in. We get really interesting reading if we did that.
Oh man. So the theory is that every time you do a spread, the definition of a card changes. It can mean something totally different.
Depends on what's around it.
It depends upon what's around it. So let's take a look. So we have our 4 of coins here.
Yeah.
And so why would we want to use this as a significator? So the question is, I think it comes down to...
Well, what do I need to do to move on?
why am I
why am I unhappy?
Yeah. Why am I...
life's eternal question.
I mean, this could be the 4 cups. It could be... But it's like, I should be happy.
Yeah.
I have everything...
Life may be good and yet you're still apathetic.
So I think on the left side, what my hopes and dreams were,
What you really need.
then where I'm at, and then what do I need to move forward?
Yeah, what you want versus what you need.
Yeah,
The
that's
material,
it. Yep.
material versus the spiritual.
'Cause,
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna sit here and not be able to shuffle, right? I'm a highly trained shuffler, Lord.
Yeah.
And it's not like
Oh,
cards are flying out.
jumper. We got a
Yeah, I
jumper.
don't do jumpers. Sometimes I do. Anyway, okay, so what we had hoped for, where we are, and
Or I like
what do you want?
I was saying what we want versus what we need.
What we want versus what we need. Okay, I'm gonna because the
Right.
the
Energy,
mojo
the energy.
mojo is with the question. You
New cards.
always make sure that you understand the question 100%
Before you lay down the cards.
Yes.
Absolutely.
unless you don't, and you're not meant to understand, and the understanding comes through.
There is no right or wrong.
Exactly.
Just throw the cards down.
Just throw the thing. People want to go eat dinner, dang it.
Right?
Okay, so
Okay, so what we need
what we need.
versus what we what we want versus what we need.
Okay, what we want.
Okay, so what we want is the reversed Knight of Swords.
What we want things to slow down. The Knight of Swords will rush. He will, he gets an idea and he just goes
Jumps
and he
in.
goes and
Yep.
he jumps in. But the problem is that sometimes the Knight of Swords doesn't think.
Fools rush in too.
Exactly, and he's like rushing. And so we want things to just slow down.
Yep.
And just not rush into stuff.
That's what we want.
But there's a problem because, here we are and we've got all this stuff here. And so now the problem is that trying to do this, doesn't mean we have, because again, we're so locked in our obsession with what we have. That sometimes we just jump and we think it's like, this is my, I need to protect what I have. I need to do this. I need to do that. And then, what's this one?
This is what we actually need. So we actually need
things to slow down because the Eight of Wands is all about it's about things moving too fast sometimes, but
Right.
things moving fast and about being. So here we have the 2 hard suits.
Yeah.
And so what we want
Is actually aligned with what we need.
right, but we're so locked into our thinking. Mm-hmm. So in other words, somebody comes in and says, I need to know what the problem. I need to know what the solution is. Okay, you know what you want, and here's the solution. You know what the solution is. Yeah, but I don't like that.
Too bad. Right? It's thinking or overthinking versus acting. And sometimes, we're like, well, but I don't like that. Exactly. Well, why don't you like it? Because my brain is telling me that I don't like it. But sometimes you just gotta do it.
Yeah, try and tell somebody who is... Try and tell an Elon Musk. Try and tell somebody else. It's like, because their brains are constantly thinking. It's like, and so, but they may not be happy. Things are just so fast and frantic, and it's like, I'm building, this is mine, and it's like, well, you need to slow yourself down. I can't. Give me another answer. I don't like that answer.
I don't like that answer.
But I mean, if this was a reading, it's like,
yeah, what you want and what you need it's both telling you to slow down, but it's how
the problem is your thoughts are just racing and you're moving too much, and the answer is slowing down. But you can't.
Well, or how I see it is that what you want is to slow down, what you need is to slow down. But what's the difference? And the difference is that what you want is the thinking. You want it, but what you need is the action.
Yeah.
So it's
So
need to just do it.
Yep. And so that is how.
But do it in a slow and in a slower pace. So you can actually do it right.
Right.
You got to do it right,
and
not
so
just
from
do it.
there, it's like the conversation then would go on is that, so why is this 8 reversed? And then I would have a whole conversation about what would it take to take that 8 and turn it right side up.
Right.
And then things are moving quickly, but can come to an end with the 9s at least. You're going to go through your battle wounds and stuff like that. But right now, the 8 of Wands, it's about stagnant and things like that. Things, they're not moving forward. And again, your thoughts can be, but yes, there could be a whole conversation about a person's lifestyle and where they're going. And you can just go on forever with it.
You can. But that would take more cards.
I know, time and everything else. But this has been fun.
Yes. Any more comments in there?
Carla, thank you, and I hope you have a great evening. And Marcos says, this is probably the best class I've had the honor to attend in so many years. Oh, well, thank you. Your dynamic is magic. Well, thank you very, very much.
And check out our other past episodes then if you like this one.
Yeah, and so you're on YouTube, so we need to really start getting people to subscribe on YouTube because
as they say, smash that bell.
Yeah, because I'm doing this because I enjoy being with people, and it's like after COVID, it's like, I wanted to be able to give back to the universe, and my volunteer work with the theater company and education and stuff like that was completely shut down.
Yeah.
And I found this outlet, and I feel good doing it.
That's great.
So
yeah.
So get people to subscribe. Tell people if you're interested.
We enjoy it. Glad that you do too.
Yes. So thank you all very, very much, and we are going to be back here next week
with 5s.
With the 5s.
That's where it gets
moving into the conf. So we finally move away from the 4s, and then it goes into the conflict.
It gets exciting.
And then I also do my morning meditations, 7:15 every morning on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. But again, I want to start moving more towards YouTube.
Sure.
Because they store them and it's easier to find the videos. And then Michael, what about you?
So I sometimes you can find me on Twitch, not as often, but definitely not as often as this guy. But occasionally you can find me on Twitch at Offbeat Artwork. You can also find me offbeatartwork.com will get you to my website where you can see more of my artwork and kind of get an idea of where my deck will be going. But spoiler alert, my deck is going to look very different than my artwork that I have done so far. As you know, you got to peek at it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm definitely stretching.
I had questions.
I'm stretching.
There were questions.
I'm stretching myself to push myself to do a good style. So that will eventually come out, and you'll hear about it here first. So subscribe, stay tuned.
Yay!
We'll see you next time.
Thank you again. I hope everybody has an amazing evening, amazing week, and amazing life. Go out and do something. Don't just sit on your 4s.
That's right.
Michael, thank you.
Jamie, always a pleasure.
All right, take care, everybody.
See ya.